Completely different prep for Mississippi State than we've had in a long time. They're averaging 22 post touches per game. Number one is top 3 scorer in the league, and they have dominant post players. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us in preparing for a completely different style of game than we've played in a long time. And then their dominance in the paint, on the glass, is unlike anything we've seen in a while. So we'll have our hands full in order to have a chance.
You mentioned you haven't played this way in a while. You've had a lot of guards on the floor with Henry. Does this mean you may have to change some things?
No, sir. No, sir.
Yeah.
No, we will have to change how we handle it, but we won't change the personnel.
It seems like Q has had the ball in his hands a lot, even bringing the ball up court a lot. Is that by design?
We've changed how we play offensively over the last 6 games. They're all kind of interchangeable, trying to utilize their versatility more, whether the ball's in their hands or not in their hands. Q has played at a very high clip with and without the ball. But because of our changes, it's just allowed the versatility of our guards to maybe be a little more prevalent.
Yeah. Buzz, were you ever at a point where you would have thought where y'all are now, a chance to go 500, or being discussed in the NCAA tournament perhaps, and all those things would come back to you after y'all were going through that, through that losing streak, and look at where you are now?
Yeah, I said it during the losing streak. I know maybe because I'm so secluded and don't know what's going on outside of the small world I live in. Our guys were never discouraged. They were disappointed, but their work ethic didn't change. Their spirit didn't change. The togetherness in which they went about their days was very consistent. I think it's just human nature. If you start 15-2 and 4-0, you think you have the world by the tail. And if you lose 8 games in a row, you think the world's ending. And I think maybe it just kind of goes back to some of those cliches, inch by inch, life's a cinch, mile by mile, life is hard, all of the things that you would think. But, it's interesting for me, Olin, because this is kind of my only interaction with normal people is when I see you guys.
That's sad.
Yeah, it is. It's that's just part of it. I'm either at my house or I'm here for 4 months out of the year. So I don't know what you write. I don't know what's being said, and I just think that's the only way I can function. And so I can tell by the tone of your questions, like what is being said. Brent says to me one time out there, hey, are you disappointed you guys are not receiving top 25 votes? But 3 weeks ago, he asked me, so what are you guys playing for? As if the season was over, And so, I can always tell, and maybe that's wrong for me to assume, but I can always tell from the tone and the words of the question what is swirling outside of the world I live in. But I don't think that as the leader, I hope, of our program, that my emotions should be based on the results. I think my responsibility needs to be the habits that we have on a daily basis, And it's kind of like when I get a text on my phone and it says the phone number, I just delete it because that means I don't know who that person is, right? And when I get a text and it has the person's name on it, I never click it because I can look at it and I can see the first sentence before I click it, right? So the blue dot's still on my phone as if I have a text, and I just read the first sentence. And I know if I want to respond, right? Because I think it's dangerous when things are going real well to listen. But I think it's just as dangerous when things are going really bad to listen. And so if those two statements are true, well, then it would just make sense to preclude yourself from the opinions of others. And that's difficult to do. I'm a human, and I want to do good. I want our program to do good, and I want Texas A&M to do good. But I think that's part of the chair that I sit in. What I'm most responsible for is the commitment that I've made to the parents of the children that are on our team, and to not allow the exposure or the money or the media or the TV or the Zooms or college game day to alter that commitment. And I don't think that you can lead, hey guys, when everything is great, man, this is fun. And then when everything is bad, you guys are terrible and this is terrible. I just think that you lose trust and you lose belief. And anytime you lose trust or belief, that means that it wasn't true love. True love means there's no agenda. And that's not the commitment that our staff has made to these guys. And so I don't even remember what the question was, but yeah, this is what I know. All I can see is what is in front of me. And what is in front of me is all I can see. And so what's in front of me? Well, I hope that it's the same thing that's in front of our team. What are we going to do today? Well, it's one day before Mississippi State, so that means today is Big Rocks. And I just ask them, okay, so what are we going to do today, guys? We're going to do this, 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 this. Yep. How do you know that? Coach, that's what we do every one day before. Okay, perfect. That's what we're going to do. Not what should change because of what's at stake. What is at stake? 2 weeks ago when you asked me the question over there to my left, well, Buzz, what about this? Hey, Olin, there's 7 teams within a game and a half of one another. All I can be a part of, responsible for, is what happens with our team. Well, today, entering the last day of the regular season, there's 6 teams within a half a game of one another. Well, what if this happens? What if that happens? And if we could do that, if they did that, and then this, and then that, you can't be consistent as a leader when it's based on if that and this would be good and that, no. So.
What do you make, or how do you explain, or what is in your mind, the reason for this late emergence of Boots and Q, the way they've been playing?
Yeah. I think they're kindred spirits in a lot of ways. Q is much more of an extrovert than Boots. But, Boots' dad is at every game, home or on the road, and he works more than a full-time job. And he ain't on a plane, he's driving. And after the game, he's driving back because he's got to go to work the next day. Q's dad's here today. He's down there now. They were raised very similarly. And they've only known each other for 6 months, but their mode of operation is very similar. And there is beginning to be great synergy and symmetry between the two. And they're 2 talented players. But I think the residual impact of how it's helped Mo and how it's helped Four and how Henry has found his niche. Like, it's not just those 2. Everybody knows they're real good, but it's also how they're bringing up those other guys. And it is in the stats, but it's also in what they do every day. And I think that it's been really fun and special to watch and see.
Is it unusual that you have kind of changed how you attack defenses, 8, 9, 10, 11 games into the conference race?
Yeah, in some respects, I think that it's not a good thing. When I was growing up wanting to be a coach, I'd read everything, study everything. I still do. And so many coaches became coaches based on their style of play. Any sport, football, basketball, any sport. And I have always felt like what I want to be able to do is I want our style of play to most benefit the players on our team. Well, in this day and age, the players on your team, it's a very volatile deal. And so as it unfolds, you have to have the maneuverability to change and go, I don't think that fits real well for this group. Why don't we try this and let's see. Doing it mid-season, doing it late in the conference play, is that right? Maybe not. Or maybe it is right because it changed the complexion of how we play and there's much more comfort and production within what we're doing. But our personnel has changed during that time. And I think anytime your personnel changes, hence my philosophy, if your personnel changes, then you need to be able to adapt and be malleable to, let's bend it this way. What can't change is the energy. What can't change is your competitive spirit. What can't change is how tough you are. What can't change is how hard you play. And that has to be your identity. But your style of play, I think it has to, for me, I'm not smart enough to do it only one way. I want to be able to do it a little bit of different ways.
Do you get a sense, or do you believe that this kind of game is, I don't know, every game is big and you only control your team, but as far as momentum heading into the SEC tournament, is that something that's important?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've won 4 out of 5. And this is the last regular season game. We're thankful that it worked out that the last regular season game is also a home game. Hopefully the community will support us tomorrow evening. It'll be sad that this is for sure Q's last game in Reed Arena. I think he's meant an enormous amount to our program in the 3 years we've been here. Last year we had senior day, albeit a different senior day with not many people here because of the protocols and not knowing, there's multiple teams even this year that are not doing senior day because technically you don't know who is a senior and who's going to return and who's not going to return. Zach Walker has been an integral part of what we've done. He went that summer with us to Costa Rica. He's the toughest guy in our program. Everett Vaughn will be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company within 5 years. He's literally a genius. His spirit, he is literally Ashton Smith's brother. He has changed Ashton's life for the better, and Ashton's yet to even put on a uniform. Jalen Johnson, we've known since he was in high school. He was utilizing his 6th year of eligibility. He's working on his 2nd master's degree. Tore his ACL in the fall, never was able to put on a uniform. We know for sure those 4 guys, despite the new rules and the extra year of eligibility, those 4 guys are done. And other than Jalen, those 3 guys have been with us since we got here. And I think that they've helped establish what we want to be about. So that it's a Saturday, that it's literally the last game in SEC play will be the last game played tomorrow. There's a lot riding on it. A lot of things will be decided before we ever play, but those are things that we can't control. What we can control is us and all of the intangible things that I think have been a part of what we've exhibited over the last 3 weeks for sure.
With such a big game and emotion involved in this one in particular, do you feel like this group is, I guess, mature maybe is the right word, I don't know, but to handle all that and handle the recent success and just be ready for this one?
Yeah, I think they're real mature. And the reason I think they're real mature is we started 15-2 and 4-0 and lost 8 games in a row, and they kept going. And now we've won 4 out of 5. You could look back through the annals of history at the Power 5 level and try to find a scenario such as this, I don't think that there would be many. I had never lost 8 games in my career as an assistant coach or as a head coach. This is my 28th year coaching in college. That included going 2-16 in year number 1 at Virginia Tech. Had never lost 8 in a row. And so for our response to be as mature as it was after a month of not winning a game, yeah, I think it'll be emotional tomorrow. I'll be emotional, but it's a good emotion. It's not a negative emotion, it's a good emotion. But from a maturity standpoint, for sure, I think they can handle it. That doesn't mean we can handle Mississippi State. It means we can handle the emotion.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.